90-Day Fiance Season 11, Episode 17 Recap, Shekinah Cries before her bedding with Sarper. While some 90-Day Fiance Season 11 couples made it to the altar without a hitch, the same couldn't be said for everyone. During Episode 17, fans watched as Aaliyah de Batista's wedding to Sean Finch was delayed by hours while another ceremony nearly happened too fast. 90-Day Fiance's Maddie questioned Stevie about her sexuality one last time. With their wedding day approaching, Maddie was still questioning whether Stevie was being honest about her sexuality and interest in women. "Just want to know the truth before the wedding, so I have time to think about it without feeling stuck," he told the cameras as he prepared to ask her one final time. "If she keeps giving me vague answers, I don't think I'm going to marry her at all." Stevie admitted that she didn't know the topic was sitting so heavily on his heart and felt bad for not settling his fears early on. TLC 90-Day Fiancé Season 11, Episode 17 Recap, Shekinah Cries before her bedding with Sarper. While some 90-Day Fiancé Season 11 couples made it to the altar without a hitch, the same couldn't be said for everyone. During Episode 17, fans watched as Aaliyah de Batista's wedding to Sean Finch was delayed by hours while another ceremony nearly happened too fast. 90-Day Fiancé's Maddie questioned Stevie about her sexuality one last time. With their wedding day approaching, Maddie was still questioning whether Stevie was being honest about her sexuality and interest in women. "I just want to know the truth before the wedding, so I have time to think about it without feeling stuck," he told the cameras as he prepared to ask her one final time. "If she keeps giving me vague answers, I don't think I'm going to marry her at all." Stevie admitted that she didn't know the topic was sitting so heavily on his heart and felt bad for not settling his fears early on. Who is 90-Day Fiancé star Shekinah's daughter Sophie? All about her. "I was defensive and shut off to even answering that question, which is so dumb because I could have just gave you an answer and you could have just moved on, you know what I mean?" she replied. "But I didn't, so I'm sorry for that. The answer is no. I just allowed you to worry about it for a lot longer than you should have." Maddie met up with his friend Saeed on the day of his wedding day and relayed the conversation about Stevie confirming that she wasn't bisexual. "I like your optimism, and I also understand your fear of facing the reality and truth," his friend replied. "There are things you may not even want to know about her. Do you actually feel good about this decision? About this whole thing? Are you happy? That's all I care about. This is your last chance." Although Maddie confirmed he was happy, Saad made plans to talk to Stevie because he felt a responsibility since the Iran native's own family wasn't there. 90-Day Fiancé's Shekinah isn't happy with her wedding venue. After finding Sarper given hiding out at a local coffee shop, Shekinah Garner asked him if he needed more time to figure out if he wanted to get married. Sarper was more curious about how she managed to find him, and she explained that she'd attached an AirTag to his keys on his first day in America just so he wouldn't lose them. The Turkey native was angry to learn this and felt she was tracking him since his arrival. "I like your optimism, and I also understand your fear of facing the reality and truth," his friend replied. "There are things you may not even want to know about her. Do you actually feel good about this decision? About this whole thing? Are you happy? That's all I care about. This is your last chance." Although Maddie confirmed he was happy, Saad made plans to talk to Stevie because he felt a responsibility since the Iran native's own family wasn't there. 90-Day Fiancé's Shekinah isn't happy with her wedding venue. After finding Sarper given hiding out at a local coffee shop, Shekinah Garner asked him if he needed more time to figure out if he wanted to get married. Sarper was more curious about how she managed to find him, and she explained that she'd attached an AirTag to his keys on his first day in America just so he wouldn't lose them. The Turkey native was angry to learn this and felt she was tracking him since his arrival. Shekinah had a vision of getting married in a bed and explained that while she hadn't toured the room in person, it looked promising in photos. It needed to have a lot of beautiful natural light. A really majestic, beautiful bed. "I wanted to be elegant. I wanted to be sexy, classy, unique, and beautiful," she described. Unfortunately, the California native was in for a surprise because she immediately called the room worn out upon walking in. "This is making me really sad," she told Sarper. In a private confessional, the beauty business owner admitted it was nothing how she expected. "The floors are just destroyed. The decor is old and run down. Everything is wrong with this picture." Shekinah broke down into tears, which only continued to put Sarper on edge about their impending marriage. I'm doing my best to convince myself that I have to get married, he told producers. And she is doing her best to make such a new drama. The 90-day fiancé Alum promptly called her wedding planner and asked the staff of the location to arrange the furniture. With the changes, Shekinah felt a lot better about using the space. 90-day fiancé Zamani was upset Annie wanted to marry Matt. It was Amani Jalassi and Matt Jalassi's last day in Annie Aguirre's hometown of Guadalajara, and things finally seemed like it was smooth sailing between the throuple. Amani and Matt were over the moon that Annie finally introduced their non-conventional romance to her parents. It saddens me that we're leaving tomorrow, but we're so eager to go back home and start the divorce process because the sooner we can have this divorce degree, the sooner we can start the K-1 visa, Amani explained, before pointing out to viewers, but in the back of everyone's mind at this point, it's the big question, who does she want to marry? She has to choose. And she has to choose before we leave tomorrow so that we know which one of our names is going to be on the K-1 visa. Amani had hoped she would be the one to marry Annie, especially since she never got her dream wedding, but was disappointed to learn that she had chosen to marry Matt instead. As the throuple returned to their hotel room, Amani admitted it was hard for her to accept that Annie wanted to marry Matt and not her. It's such a big punch in the heart. No, a stab in the heart correction, and not be able to react to it, she explained. Because I have to still show her that I'm the partner that I promised to be, which is I will support your decision no matter what. Annie asked Amani if she was upset with her over the decision, to which the San Diego resident responded that she wasn't but wanted to make sense of it. In response, Annie felt that Amani's uncomfortability had to be with her trying to stay the boss of the relationship. Maybe I shouldn't have pushed her in the winery, maybe I shouldn't have pushed her to tell her family I just can't help thinking if I didn't push her too hard, maybe she would have chosen me, Amani said in a confessional. Maybe you love him more. Maybe you don't see yourself forever with a woman. So do you want to marry a man? They're just going to get married and I'm going to get kicked out of this picture and I'm just blew my whole life like upside down. 90-day fiancé star Greg and Joan's wedding started on a hiccup. It's Greg Chiluk and Joan Khrushchev's wedding day, however, things were already starting off on the wrong foot. Greg forgot to tell his guests to arrive early to the ceremony as it was set to start promptly at its start time, so he and his mother began calling all their guests. Thankfully, Greg and his mother were able to reach all of their loved ones, and the ceremony went on without a hitch. I've been wanting this for such a long time. Just to see her in that beautiful dress, she looks stunning, he told viewers. 90-day fiancés Mina learned that her son wouldn't make it to wedding. Aminata Mina Mack was inconsolable after learning that her son, Clayton, would not be present for her wedding to Mark Bessette. Mark rushed outside to comfort his bride and was able to convince her to have her son watch the wedding over a live stream. I have no doubts about my marriage, I have no doubts about the person I'm going to marry, she confided to viewers. I just have doubts with my choices, the ones I made before to jump on the opportunity to come here. I wonder if my son going to blame me one day? Mina had yet to tell Clayton that he wouldn't make it to her wedding and she was nervous about making the call. After finally building the courage to talk to him, they were both in tears discussing the news. The France native worried that her son would hold this against her and build resentment against her in the future. The tension was high at 90-day fiancé stars Aaliyah and Sean's wedding. Aaliyah was taking her time making it to the aisle despite her future husband, Sean, and their guests waiting outside in extreme heat. Although guests tried to prevent Sean from seeing Aaliyah before the wedding, he was angry and there was no stopping him from confronting his tardy bride. So I say we walk in the thing, say I do really quick and then go have food and then throw everybody out, okay? Sean told Aaliyah as he rushed her out from where she was getting ready. In a private confessional, he told viewers, I don't know if culturally that people in Brazil show up whenever they want to a wedding, but when I first put my eyes on her and see her at the top of the stairs, I am so mad at them and so angry. It was now an hour and 45 minutes after the wedding's intended start time and Sean asked the officiant to rush the ceremony, getting through whatever you legally have to do. Aaliyah finally made it down the aisle, and after a brief ceremony, the couple were officially pronounced husband and wife. However, the Brazil native was visibly disappointed by how rushed everything felt, and things only got worse when Sean gave a quick seated toast, rather than standing up to properly thank their guests. I'm second-guessing myself and second-guessing Aaliyah, the hairdresser confessed to the cameras. And I'm wondering if she can't give me what I need because she's dealing with her own issues. If that's just a forever thing, maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe I can't be in this relationship. 90-Day Fiancé's throuple drama hit its peak after a wedding conversation, and Amani's reaction makes me think this won't work. Warning. The following contains spoilers for the 90-Day Fiancé episode Too Late for Love. Stream it with a Max subscription and read at your own risk. Matt and Alani Jalassi have officially demystified the process of being part of a throuple while removing much of the potential thrills, as all I've seen are lots of problems cropping up so far. The married couple just got over Eni Aguirre withholding information about her personal life and finally convinced her to come out to her family about the true nature of her relationship with them. Despite that, the trio once again seems to be at a breaking point due to hurt feelings. This time Eni made her big marital decision. The throuple is finally moving forward with the K1 visa process, despite continued speculation from 90-Day Fiancé viewers that they're engaging in something illegal. Before that, however, Eni had to choose her ideal marital partner between Matt and Amani, and even that decision caused quite a bit of drama that has me wondering if they should all admit this arrangement isn't going to work. Eni's decision to marry Matt upset Amani quite a bit. Despite Amani directly saying she wanted to be the one to marry Eni, the latter informed her she intended to marry Matt. The decision technically doesn't matter, as they all intend to live together and maintain being a throuple, but you wouldn't know it based on Amani's reaction. She was more or less devastated, especially after directly sharing her feelings on the matter before Eni made her decision. As for why Eni didn't want to marry Amani, the reasoning was simple. She felt Matt was the more level-headed of the two, and Amani's penchant for drama concerned her. She wanted stability in her relationship and didn't want to worry about being thrown out of the house every time there was a disagreement or something of that nature. So, while she allegedly loves Amani more, it seems she'd sooner be legally married to Matt. If Amani can't handle not being chosen for marriage, is this throuple doomed? Amani began to spiral after the decision, talking about everything she must have done wrong while wondering if she was going to be the odd person out if this 90-day throuple split. It was concerning to watch, and I have to think if someone is already concerned about what will happen if the relationship fails, maybe they shouldn't be talking about marriage. It has me wondering if all parties involved won't back out of the K1 visa process, given Amani's worry about potentially being shut out of the relationship. Take that, plus the fact that they are actively attempting to fraud the process, which could lead to legal repercussions. I just have to wonder how willing each party is to stick their necks out for this. Max. Plans start from $9.99 a month. Streaming 90-Day Fiancé and all its spin-offs is easy with Max. Pay $9.99 a month for its with ads plan, and with 3 tiers available, there are a few ways to pay. You can also prepay for a year and save up to 90-Day Fiancé members also may not be aware that it's an immensely short drive between where Matt and Amani live in San Diego, California, to Eni in Tijuana, Mexico. The distance between their homes may be less than a person's commute to work, so they could continue this relationship without anyone having to divorce. They just won't have to live together, but will that be enough for everyone involved? We will have to continue to wait and see how this shakes out as 90-Day Fiancé airs on TLC on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This season is winding down, so it won't be long before we start to tell all and hopefully get a big update on what's going on with the throuple. Mick Jost is a content producer for Cinema Blend with his hand in an eclectic mix of television goodness. Star Trek is his main jam, but he also regularly reports on happenings in the world of Star Trek, WWE, Doctor Who, 90-Day Fiancé, Quantum Leap, and Big Brother. He graduated from the University of Southern Indiana with a degree in journalism and a minor in radio and television. He's great at hosting panels and appearing on podcasts if given the chance as well.